All right, so jumping back into dictionaries, we have a few more methods that we've already covered, like the items, the clear, and the get method. We have some more methods that are very, very useful for dictionaries. So we have the keys method. So the dictionary.keys is going to give you all the dictionary's keys as a sequence. You also have the dictionary.pop method. That's going to return the value associated with a specified key. And then the difference between dictionary.get and dictionary.pop is the pop actually is going to remove that value as well. Okay, so it returns the value associated with the specified key, and then it removes the key value pair from the dictionary. Okay, so if you're putting stuff in, and you're putting stuff in, and you just need to pop something off to go ahead and get the data and then remove it, you can use the pop function. You also have the pop item method, which returns as a tuple the key value pair that was last added. Okay, so the method removes the key value pair from the dictionary just like the pop function does. So again, dictionary.pop item, and it's going to give you a tuple. So it's going to give you a key value tuple, so it's going to have two values in it, and then it's going to pop that off of there. Now, keep in mind that is the last added. Okay, now we have the keys method. We also have the values method, and that returns all the dictionary values as a sequence. Okay, so you can do dictionary.keys and dictionary.values to be able to sort of delineate those. Now, cool thing about that is you can use a for loop to actually iterate over all of these, because these are all returning as a sequence. So I can do for value in dictionary.values, and I can actually iterate through each value, or I can do for key in user, right, or dictionary.keys, right. So I can actually iterate through all of these things, which is pretty cool. Okay, so here's some of our dictionary methods. We have the clear method, the get, the items, keys, pop item, and values. The clear just clears the dictionary out completely. Let's say you're processing through information and you need to go ahead and clear that dictionary out to start it over again. You can use the .clear method. We have the .get, which it just goes in and tries to get a key that you give it. If the key isn't there, it returns that default value. That's that second argument that you're going to throw into that. Removes the tendency to get that key error exception on a dictionary. You have the items, which returns all the keys in a dictionary and their associated values. Okay, so that's going to give you the whole thing. It's going to give you the key and the value. You saw that at the end of the last video. We have the keys, which just gets you a list of the keys. Pops off the value associated with specified key and then removes it. Pop item pops off the last added value and removes it. And then values returns all the values in the dictionary as tuples. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump over and maybe mess with some of these other functions. So jumping back over here to our user dictionary. Okay, so let's go ahead and just see what we get on the keys. So print user.keys. Okay, so essentially we should know that that's just going to give us the keys, right? So dictionary keys gives us first, middle, initial, and last. Okay, so just to show that, we can go ahead and add a key. We're going to go ahead and add ID. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's an integer. We can go ahead and print the user.keys again, and we can see now that we have that added key. Okay, so here is ID right there. Now, if we want to go ahead and pop, what we can do is we can print user.pop. Oops, gotta get that right. Now, whenever we're doing user.pop, we have to give it a key. Okay, so let's say I want to go ahead and pop off the ID. I can also say does not exist. This is the default if it can't find that. Okay, so we should be able to see an ID because we have an ID at that point. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just to show that it actually popped that off and that it no longer exists in the dictionary, we can do a user.keys again, and we can see now that ID is gone. Okay, so we added ID, we popped ID, and now ID doesn't exist in there anymore. Okay, so now with the pop item, we can actually add another. So let's do user phone. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Okay, so I've added that on there, and I can actually do another user.pop item. Okay, so pop item is going to return the last added value, and then it's going to go ahead and pop it off of there. Okay, so whenever we see that, I've added the phone, so a pop item should pop the phone back off of there, okay? And it gives it to me as a tuple. We can see it's a tuple because it has parentheses, okay? So we know that that is a tuple. So it gives me the key, it gives me the value, and now if I go ahead and print user.keys again, you're going to see that the phone doesn't exist, okay? Because it popped that off of there, okay? Now if I print user.keys here, you're going to see that the phone is there. Okay, I did pop item, so it popped off the last added, and now we can see that it doesn't exist anymore. Now, if I want to just get the values, again, I can print user.values, and that's just going to give me the values of the set. So I have dictionary keys, and then I have dictionary values. Now, obviously, I can do that at any point in all of these additions and get all the different values off of there. Okay, so items gives you the key value pairs, keys gives you just the keys, and values gives you just the values. Okay, so those are the functions that you can use. So those are all the different dictionary functions that we have thus far. I would encourage you to go ahead and go over to PyCharm, mess around with those, and go ahead and just experiment with everything like I've been doing here in PyCharm. And then we're going to just keep on moving forward here in the dictionaries. Okay, so we have also these things called dictionary comprehensions. We've talked about list comprehension, so we also have dictionary comprehensions. Because a dictionary is a list, or a dictionary is a sequence, and a list is a sequence, and a string is a sequence, they all sort of have the same functionalities. Okay, so with the dictionary comprehension, and again, I'm probably not going to have you do anything with this, so we're just going to kind of go over it. I might not even show you how to do it. You can play with it if you want to, but it's not as important. Okay, so you can actually create a dictionary in which the keys are integers of 1 through 4, and then if we want to copy that, we have to do it sort of this way. For item and numbers, we have to add that in there. Okay, so we've created this, used this for loop to create a dictionary from a list called numbers. We can also use a dictionary comprehension, which puts it all together in sort of the same line. Okay, so again, we have squares, item, exponent 2 for item in numbers. So it looks exactly like a list comprehension, but it generates a dictionary. Okay, so dictionary comprehension and a list comprehension are very simple, very similar, and again, we have a result expression, we have the iteration expression. Okay, so I want you to just keep in mind that anytime you see the word comprehension, you're going to either a dictionary or a list comprehension, you're going to have a result expression and you're going to have an iteration expression. Okay, so for item in numbers, then you're going to have your result expression, and you can do stuff to that. Now, just keep in mind with a dictionary, you have to provide it a key. Now, if you remember in a list comprehension, this isn't there because you don't have to worry about the key because the key is going to be an index. With a dictionary comprehension, you have to add a key. Now, what this is doing, this is adding the number and then it's exponentiating it. Okay, so you can do different things with dictionaries in that way. So again, if you have an existing list of strings, you can actually create an associated dictionary with the length of those things. So again, we have names and we have string lengths, so we can have, we're going to add the item, which is the name, and then we're going to add the length of the name. So we have Jeremy 6, Kate 4, Peg 3, so on and so forth. Okay, so you can actually do all kinds of cool stuff with those dictionary comprehensions. And then again, you can make a copy of a dictionary in this sort of way. Now, this might be really useful for you. So you can create a dictionary 2 and KV. Those are just arbitrary things that mean key and value. Okay, so I have a dictionary here, and then I have a key value pair here. So if you want to see that in action, what's kind of cool is I can actually create a copy. So let's go user2. Okay, and then to be able to do that, I'm just going to do a K and V. Okay, so that's what it's going to be in the new one for K, comma V in user.items. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to use user.items, and I'm going to pop that off. It's going to give me that list, right? So let me print that for you. User.items. Okay, so that's going to give me that list that I can iterate through, and that list is full of tuples. Okay, so then this is going to give me a tuple that I can break into K and V, and then I can add K and V to the new user2. Okay, so then what I can do is I can print user, and I can print, let's do user.items. Actually, we have user, we're going to do user2.items. That way you can see they're the same. Okay. So this is a way you can make a copy of a dictionary very, 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 very quickly. Okay, so you can see here is my user.items. Okay, Adam M. Spanier. I have used a dictionary comprehension here to go ahead and create a copy. So user.items pulls out a tuple, and then a tuple, and then a tuple. Okay, because I can actually do, just to demonstrate this to you, I can do for tuple in user.items, and you can actually see if I print this tuple, it just gives them to me one at a time. So I get first atom, MIM, last Spanier, okay? So I have those tuples, okay? So then what I can do is I can break those tuples apart into, say, key and value. So I can go key value equals tuple, okay? And that's essentially what's happening here. As we're pulling out a tuple, then we're going to turn that into a key and a value, okay? Now I can also reference that key equals tuple 0 and value equals tuple 1. So I can also reference that by key, and then I can print key and value, right? So we're kind of doing everything the same here. Okay, so here's my first atom, MIM, last, and Spanier. So I got key and value as I'm iterating through that. Okay, so then if I wanted to actually do another user, then I could actually set those in as a key value pair for another user. So let's say I wanted to do user 3. Okay, so I created a new one. So now I have the key values. I can actually do user 3, and in here I can give it a key, and then I can give it a value. Okay, so I can build user 3 out this way as well. So let's just do print user 3 dot, okay, but you'll notice I can do this or I can do this, right? So one of them is very long, one of them is very short. Okay, so that kind of gives you your comprehension and why that's pretty useful. Okay. All right, so last little bits on dictionary comprehensions. You can also do if clauses, and I'll just encourage you to go ahead and pull the slides down and look at these if you would like to mess around with that a little bit more. All right, so that's the end of this video. We're going to jump into sets in the next video, so hold tight.